Hey, welcome to SC Custom Designs, where we're doing an episode on selling my mug. So, this episode is part 5 of making basically a tray that holds coffee and a biscuit for a bed and breakfast down in Windham, New York. And if you haven't seen this series, I just started it. It's all about this unit here. And I was able to come up with my own design, and I came up with this design here. And just look up video episode 1, 2, 3. You'll see the actual semi-finished product for this unit. So it's hollow on the bottom, and you put your cup here. Now, in your biscuit, the thing with this design is I want to have 3 different selling points. Your bottom lines model, okay, so your buy-in model, which is going to be this here. The customer actually is okay and likes this. Now these are nice because they stack one inside of the other, so for the bed and breakfast, that's going to be really good to get them out of the way and take them and put them into service. Okay, so that's what this is. However, so at this point I need to make this little piece of glue here. Okay, it sounds like an easy thing to do. What does it take to make these little guys? Well, behind me is a 4x8, and I'm going to be cutting strips a little bit stronger than what I want, just for error, so that I can always cut it back down, right? That's the way I do things. So essentially, why am I calling this the mobile workstation, or the mobile woodshop as well? Because I'm going to take you out the camera, I'm going to walk you around my shop. There are those folks that have such copious amounts of room in their shop. Now, compared to other shops, like my friend over in the UK, look him up, Barney's Woodsmith or shop. He's just started doing videos. He's got an area that looks like something like this. Okay, this is it. Maybe I'm being bold. Maybe there's less room. No, I mean to the back of the rack, my wood rack, not behind the rack. So he's got this humble little space. Now I'm going to turn around. You're going to see that I have 2/3 more of that type of space, and I can come over into this area here. So on one hand, you know, I have maybe more space than some, but you know, we would be lying if we said we're not a little envious of those shops that can rip a 4x8 anywhere in their shop. That being said, remember, if you look back on my series, I have 400 videos by now, by the way. And hey, if you like what you see, let's get the business out of the way. Subscribe to SC Custom Designs. Subscribe to my channel, please. And like I said, there's 400 videos. We have 221 subscribers now. So we got 2 in the last couple of days. They're coming in 2 by 2 by 2, kind of like the Noah's Ark. All right, so let me show you what I did. It took me 2 hours to set up to cut that 4x8. 2 hours, my friends. However, next time I won't have to take 2 hours, because I have marked out where these pieces go that will receive the 4x8. Again, I don't have the luxury of having an outfeed table just sitting around somewhere, unless I'm going to put it to other uses, which I can do. I'm not saying I'm not going to. At any rate, I kind of meet this guy as an outfeed table. He's just a little bit high on this guy, and he's actually coming into play right now. I actually keep him, this guy now, I put the DeWalt on. This is 92 pounds, and it's pretty heavy to pick up. I can slide him over, because he's on wheels, over to here and just lift him right off with very little effort. Okay, and that's the idea. We want to work, what? Smarter, not harder. I put my bandsaw on wheels, mobile shop. because these things are on wheels, I was able to move these things out of my way so I could set up for this 4x8. My wood bench on wheels. What else is on wheels? I wish I was on wheels. Obviously the jet is on wheels. It comes like that. My little mobile unit here is on wheels. The drill press is on wheels. And so there you go. The idea of being able to quickly move things in and out of service is key. Now, when I'm done with the table saw will go back over there. You guys who are watching on big TVs, I'm sorry. This guy here will go over here, and I'll put the planer back on it. This guy here will come right here. So then I'm all tidy again. All right, so there you go. All right, now, that being said, what I did, so I can set up quickly, is I traced out every last piece that I got here. All right, so I'll know where they go. Now, that's for the worst case scenario, which is this floppity piece of Luan. It's like trying to cut a piece of paper. It's hard to hold it into shape and so on and so forth. Naturally, a 1/4 inch or something, bigger plyboard is going to have more strength to go across, and I'll probably be able to span these guys out even a little bit more. At any rate, so it took me, this is probably not an exaggeration, about 50 times going back and forth to set these guys up so that they're ready, crawling on my knees, under, etc., etc. Oh well, the price we got to pay for having the smaller shop, I'll take it, because I can work all year round inside my shop. That being said, it is summer, it's July, Independence Day. Happy Independence Day, everybody. I got 56 excuse me, percent humidity in here, and a temperature of 77. All right, so that being said, I've got a dehumidifier running over there, not now because it builds up heat in the day, and I have that fan on, which is a classic Westinghouse, but just not now because I'd like for you to hear me. What a concept. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and attempt. This is actually my second attempt. I'm going to throw up a blooper there. So you can see the blooper that I had. You want to see that blooper? Okay, let's have fun then. Hey, again, subscribe to my channel if you like what you're seeing. 400 videos, and we talk about everything. And while my videos may be wordy, I try to throw in lots of tips along the journey. So just hang in there. You might pick up on something that you haven't picked up on today. And we'd like you to leave your comments, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, let me know why, and I'll make a change. So just be constructive about it. Okay. We're going to try to do this thing. I did a dry run. Just some tips about cutting paper thin Luan, okay? What you're going to want to do, well in this case, as you can see, I have it all set up so that I could pick it up, back it up, arrange my posture so I could control the wood as firmly and safely as possible, okay? When you are feeding a 4x8 piece yourself, it looks very easy when you have a shop that's got all kinds of room and you got your outfeed tables. But when you got this situation, you have to just really take your time. So you're going to pick it up, and you're going to obviously push it into the fence, not too hard, just enough so that it's not doing this, okay? It does this a little bit, it's not the end of the world, okay. So I want to tell a story about this plyboard before I cut it up. So I had an angel the other day help me out. I was driving down the road. It's the first time this ever happened. I was in a hurry, and I preached the opposite. Don't be in a hurry. So my daughter is in the car, and we're driving home from Lowe's, and next thing you know, she goes, whoa, 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 like this, and like she couldn't get the words out fast enough. I looked in my mirror, and that piece of Luan at that point was going like this, and it landed lengthwise just like this and set against the telephone pole in the middle of the 4x8. What? That's what I call an angel. And I thank the Lord that happened. It didn't hit anybody. That could have went really wrong. And there were other pieces of wood up there that didn't fall off, that were just held on with one clamp. What happened was one of the clamps came loose, and I didn't have enough. As a matter of fact, I got plenty of clamps that I could have threw in the car. I forgot, so I bought some more, and I should have bought some more, but I was trying to be frugal. At any rate, this is real life. This is what happens, and just thought I would share that with you. When I do my videos, I don't rehearse. I just have an idea what I'm going to do, and what you see is what happens in your shop every day. You just don't know about it. I have no problem being transparent. Alright, that went off relatively without a hitch, except for the fact that I had to move the roller for this little small piece. I had to move them in a little bit. So in my dry runs, obviously that wasn't cut yet. I just basically went back and forth to make sure, as it was dropping the end, that it would have something to fall onto. I would say that was a pretty successful first run on my new setup, okay? So what I'm going to do is take my beta piece, which I already ascertained that I want it to be a little bit bigger than what this is, and it is. It's just that much bigger. I'm happy with that. All right, so I'm going to need about 20 of these. I think what I'm going to do is not waste this setup, and I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and cut them out. Use possibly the whole 4-bay, just get it cut up, then it'll be ready for the future. If you watch my episodes 1, 2, and 3, you'll see that I speak of the jigs that I made to make all the pieces that I have. So I could basically wake up next year and decide I want to make more, and just go grab my templates. Throw my templates on the radial arm saw, throw the template on the chop box. I'm right back in business, my friends. It's worthwhile spending time to set up those jigs. Okay? Now it's going to be so much easier to manage. Even just a few inches less. I left my headphones over there. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, I'm not really sure what got hung up that time. I see what it is. It is a wire. We're all familiar with Mr. Murphy, but Murphy can be eliminated if we think ahead for things. So this wire has to be plugged in the way I have this configuration going on. So that's that. All right, let's just get back to work. This time I'll put my phones on. That's kind of loud. I'd like to keep whatever hearing I have left at this age. Alright, so I've got 3 pieces. And I'm trying to do the math very quickly in my head, because I really don't need tremendous overkill, because this sort of length and thickness of board can come in handy. So I'm going to do this real quick. That's plenty. Okay, I'm going to stop there, even though I said I would set up for the future or whatever. So there you go. We call this episode the mobile woodshop, because you got to be mobile. When you only have so much space, you got to be very careful of what is absolutely stationary. I mean, like this, I got a 16-foot bench here. If this is the first time you're coming into my wood shop, then let me just give you a real quick tour. Would help if I put my eyes back on. This wood shop has, I made this, the first thing I made for my wood shop is a 16-foot bench. You could drive a car on that. And I made it to come apart, because it's coming with me, my friends. I made it very, very strong. That's my nature. I don't like making weak things. I just don't. It annoys me. This bench has the classical piece of sacrificial particle board, whatever this is here. And then I can take this off and flip it over. As a matter of fact, I think I need to do that soon, because it's got glue and this and that, and I could flip it over and it'll be brand new. Then I'll recycle it into something else. So what is my wood shop? I did a reorg, my friends, and one of the first things that I did was to take, I put a little board here and I put these little clamps on, so that way I can take a clamp, put it into service. Most of the time I'm doing my work here on the bench, and then put it back. Well, I liked it so much that I put two 2x4s behind me. And I have a lot of clamps that are ready, like the long ones. I didn't have the long ones over here. The pipe clamps can stay over here. There's another area for my clamps, and I've got some Jorgensen clamps there, various other styles. They can stay over there, that's not a problem. Okay, now that we're over here, what do we got? We got a drill press unit. It's a humble, small drill press. When you get a drill press, one thing I didn't think about, well, I mean, it's all the money I had in the 90s. I only had a few tools then. Is the space between here and that pole. you're limited immediately by what you can drill. So that's something to think about. When a pal came up from Dover Plains and borrowed mine, that was his first gripe about it. So there you go. I have a dust booth over there with 2 portholes that I can hook up to the dust collector. So if any time I need to do a lot of repetitive sanding and I don't want to necessarily hook up to hoses and stuff like that, which can be cumbersome in my mind, my estimation, and then I could put that, believe it or not, when I hook it up to this, it sucks all the dust out. If you don't have a dust collector, this guy here sucks down to 5 microns of dust. It's amazing. And yeah, to think all of that should have been in my wood shop somewhere, right? And it's just that fine dust that we're talking about. All right. So in my reorg, what I did is I took my jet and I have him now here. If you look at my older videos, he was over there and in the way. He's now here. I can push him out of the way and just pull him out just a couple of feet and service the jet bandsaw, the rigid oscillating belt sander, the table saw, and even over there I could, run my hoses over. I don't have conduit set up yet. One thing at a time, my friends. So at any rate, as we look over here, we'll see a Rikon, Humboldt Rikon down there. Bandsaw, it's the first one I got. When I got it, I felt like it was a tease because it didn't have power. It's good for really, really small things. I went with the 14-inch jet, and I'm happy. If there's anything that I would say to jet, that would be give us a little blower that will blow the dust away from the teeth. Okay, they did design where it's pulling the dust away right here, just below the area here. So they did optimize where they put that portal. Okay, but still, I find that the dust builds up in here, and it would be really cool if they could figure that in. We didn't even buy an aftermarket. Maybe you guys know about one. Let me know. Back here, so under here we have just all kinds of tools that I can pull out and put them into service. I got belt sander, disc sander here like this. I think it's a Porter cable. This is Harbor Freight spindle sander. Your drum is going to be a little bit bigger than the drum that you get here. We have a pin gun. I can't say enough about the pin gun. The pin gun is here. It is amazing. I have a compressor. I use the hose more than I use for anything for this unit. But a pneumatic pin gun is now sleeping somewhere. I now use the pin gun more because it's so accessible. Look up that episode. We have the chop box. It was a gift actually from a friend who's a fellow musician and coworker. And oh boy, I was so happy to receive that. Thank you. Then we have this jointer. It's a Porter cable. It's okay. It could have more power, but you get what you pay for. I'm a firm believer in that. We have another chop box down there. We have, and then old SE Cousin Designs units that we have for sale. And we're having 2 shows this year. Last year we had one in Woodstock, and that was a lot of fun. You can see my wood table here. My router bits are going to be up here. And just stuff hardware and things. We have the Craig system under here. If you haven't, I did an episode on that. Just look up Craig, search for Craig in my channel, and you'll see that I've used this. They're amazing when you want to do pocket screws. And I got some other things under there, squares, and I don't know what's under there. So I keep dowels right here. I use them for sanding and for construction, obviously. Moving right along, hopefully, guys. This reminds me of Israel whenever I see this in the 90s. I learned how to work with wood in Israel and speak Hebrew in the 90s when I was a teenager. 78. Whoa. And all I had that we were allowed to use was a wooden hammer, some steel hammers like this, and chisels, and we made dovetail joints out of that, and you don't really need a lot of tools. You know, but so there's the Lee D4 Pro dovetail. Look up that episode. You won't know what you did without it. Those pins are configurable, 24 inches of real estate to move them back and forth. They can be consistently spaced, or one big fat dovetail, or whatever, very irregular. You are the artist, and that's what makes that the best jig in the world. Prove me wrong. Then we have this, we spoke about the Jet bandsaw. You, again, don't know what you did without it once you get one. I employ the Fast System from Carter, and I also have the Carter Magfence 2, which is down there. Look up those episodes. The Fast System, you can use these plates for measuring on your router bit depth, setting your height for your blade, and you know, so many things you can use it for. But where it shines is when what it does is it shows you the bandsaw drift. Look up that episode. So when you're ripping a piece of wood, you know, you're resawing, the blade tends to go in some odd direction. It defies logic, and that's just because the way the blade is orientated on the wheel. And you know, look up those episodes too. Your curve should be in the middle of the wheel. Okay. We have the humidifier, not running at the moment. I have a cabinet here where I try to keep organized with all my sanding. This has 11,000 hits. Wow. Look that episode up. I just basically bought it and talked about it, and apparently folks like that tool. And we have various things here. Down here we have more sanders. I do a lot of hand sanding. I find I do my finish sanding is by hand. You don't want to create swirlies with these types of units. You know, that's not an expensive unit by any means. That DeWalt, there's probably, you know, I don't have any Festool tools. I can't afford those at the moment. So there you go. There's how I'm organized there. And these cabinets, yep, I found them on the side of the road and I put them into service. I love that. This was a gift to me. Somebody was leaving New York, and someone else told them about me, and I was over there in a flash. That weighs more than my house. Okay, that weighs like a car. I actually brought it down myself because I'm stubborn. Should have asked for help. But this is a really nice, look at the way he made this. This guy actually was a GE engineer, I think, and he made harps on the side. Hello. He gave me one of his harps. And so this was his bench. Now it's mine. I had this little wire brush motor thing. My neighbor threw this away. And I went out and saw that, and I picked it up. So those are really good. Watch my episodes on cleaning up your hammers and tools with that brush. Okay, pegboard is your friend. Basically, this is more like for showing off pieces that I have, just old pieces. Some are not so old. One of them I still use it. Look at that screwdriver. I cleaned that up with the wire brush not too long ago. This I picked up in Vermont. This is a scoring unit. All right, I have a smaller one. At any rate, I use these tools. They're here, but then you're going to find you're going to need all kinds of things. I have very, very simple chisels that here they're cheap. They're nothing to speak of, but at least I have a few. I have some scooping type chisels and some rasps and some things like this here. Nice long levels and the things that you see. We have a router table down here. This is a bench dog. I really wish I had a unit where the router could tilt, because if I could tilt that router, I could have did all of my lines, cavities to receive the Luan for the units I'm working on. I could have did that so fast and easy. So at any rate, but once you get one of these, you wonder what you did with it before that. Okay, these guys are just amazing, the things you can do with that. So you can see that I don't have expensive tools. I have tools that I have. Okay, so that I can afford to get. Let's pull that out. Hopefully we'll be able to see in here. We have a plate joiner, DeWalt, for biscuits. This guy, look up this episode as well. This guy here, the AXs, works. This is a reciprocal saw, and it turns into a jigsaw, battery operated. This is a Grizzly oscillating, handheld oscillating spindle sander. Really, really cool. Got routers in the back, couple different type of routers, and just things there. Oh my! So I keep threatening to do a real thorough shop tour, and I'm failing to do that. But I thought, being that I'm calling this number 5, is to talk about the unit. So down in Windham, New York, there is a bed and breakfast, and they had this for their guests to take a cup of coffee and a biscuit to the room, and they were declaring that the things were sliding around. So they said, hey, can you make me one? The design is in your hands, and I was so happy about that. Look up these episodes. These are nested trays. This all came out from a block of wood. They came out of bandsaw boxes, okay? Bandsaw boxes, and otherwise it's like this, and you throw it away, whatever. And I redeemed those pieces and made these really cool nested